cows are done in the yard now, so we've got them up in the field. I'm gonna roll up this fencing and we're gonna start putting the chicks, they don't look like chicks anymore, the chickens out here. This is the Gallagher Smart fencing. I haven't been thrilled with it this year. Several of the lines snapped. I'm gonna call the company and see how they deal with it, and then we'll do a better product review.
The grass is finally growing here, which means it's time. As you saw in yesterday's video, we got the cows out onto the pasture. Today we're getting chickens out. Our plans with these chickens this year just kind of got destroyed. When we ordered the chickens, the meat chickens, we didn't know we were moving. We didn't know that we had to schedule that in. And so now we have these birds that some of them are ready to go to the processor. Others are a few weeks away from really being at the right point. But because there's so much going on and with the move and everything happening, we just have to take them all, and they only have another week or so to be out on pasture. They would have been on pasture much earlier, but we were away moving, and it's just all kind of got blown up. We're gonna take all of them to the processor at once, which means the Cornish will be a little bit older than we normally bring them, and the Rangers will be a little bit younger. It's not ideal, but again, we ordered these birds before we knew we were even moving, and the move has just destroyed the plans with the meat chickens this year, and we're just gonna make the best of it as we transition, because the more important thing is getting us all to Pennsylvania onto the new homestead. Even though our plans changed, we definitely still want to get them out on grass, which is what we're going to do today. Where are we getting them?
In the yard.
You sure about that?
Yeah. What Austin does to everything over here.
The bee check. There's always a bee's nest around here somewhere. I like to just shake it real quick, see if something's in there first.
There's one thing Austin does not like. It's bees.
I do not like bees. And I know these are like wasps and yellow jackets. I'm not knocking them on bees. This is the Homesteady chicken tractor. You can see how to build this in the 3-part series. Click that playlist. You can watch how to make this whole thing. Overall, it's not a bad design. I think, alright, we'll put the chicken tractor here, and then leave an aisle for the girls to walk through. Then we can go to the cedar tree, back to the back fence here, and tie it in somewhere over here. Leave a little area so then we can get a nail. This is poultry netting. This netting has very small squares so that the chickens don't get through it, and more importantly, predators don't get into it. We like to use this, give them a little bit of a run to run around in, but it kind of keeps them contained, and again, mostly keeps things out of here.
These crates we're actually borrowing from my mom. She's been doing her own meat birds for several years now. She hasn't been in the last couple. But they're great when we take them to the butcher. We take them to a butcher about 2 hours away in Rhode Island, so the birds can be USDA inspected and we can sell them on the farm. They're great. Hard-sided, hard-top, so we can stack them on top of each other. And for times like this, when we're moving birds from coop to barn to chicken tractor, they're really nice to have around.
When we walk past that camera, and we're way past it, grab the camera and bring it over into the new chicken yard, okay?
Now?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, come outside.
The camera and the egg box, Daddy. Daddy?
It's a good idea. We got the chickens in. Now we want to make sure that they stay there. And that's why we're electrifying it with our little Premier One and Teleshock solar charger. Got to put the ground rod down into the ground.
Don't hit your camera by slipping.
Good idea. Of course, we're on a rock there.
That's deep enough.
Now we want it deeper. Oh my, lots of rocks here. That's a keeper, that one right there. Got a frayed wire here, but I always keep electric tape on me. My little hip pouch there, in case I need it. Preparedness.
Be prepared for your fence.
If you want to know what I keep in my everyday carry pack there's a link below to all the stuff that we use, and there's a whole section on everyday carry. You can check that out. Learn what knife I use, learn what equipment I keep in my pack, all that stuff.
Don't slip it and stab it into me.
I will try not to.
You need to color correct, not hard. It's very sandy.
You're so right. Let's put this on here.
Perfect.
Good bright sun. This is cool. This clips right onto your little ground rod, which holds your charger up. This guy will clip right to our fence, and then we'll turn it on. If you want to find out what equipment we use here, again, links below for all that. We make sure to electrify this netting. You don't have to keep the chickens in, but it keeps them from going close to the fence, which keeps them from getting tangled in it. And if one of these chickens got tangled in the fence on a hot day, this far along, it would definitely die. So the shock makes them go, ooh, get away from that. Speaking of a hot day, we also do something else on these hot days that helps keep them alive.
The nipple waters are great when they're smaller for keeping your coop clean. They learn to use them quickly, but at this age, the weather's heating up and the nipple water, they just can't get enough water from it that they need. There was several years ago when we were first starting out, we had Cornish dying because it was hot. They couldn't get enough water out of the nipple water. So we always keep a dish of water for them too.
Don't make it overflow.
I won't. That way they can take big gulps of water.
Another good reason to electrify your fence. Keep your cows out. These Rangers are a lot more spunky than the Cornish. You never have to go chasing a Cornish, but the Rangers you do.
Cornish are, yeah, let's go inside. Cornish are slightly more work than a regular egg-laying chicken. Can you hear me at all? Yeah. Cornish from the beginning are slightly more work as chicks because they grow so quickly and are so heavy. They're messier to keep inside. We always try to get them at a time where we can get them outside as soon as possible. Then you have your fluke years where it's snowing in April and you got to keep them inside. That's a lot more work for cleaning. Don't brood them in your basement. We learned that.
Well, we don't want to have them when it's too cold. We also don't want to have them when it's too hot, because as they get big and fat towards the end, these really hot days, you risk them getting too hot and dying. So we try to get our Cornish every year in that sweet spot in the spring when it's not snowing and it's not 80, which this year was like 2 days.
Even if you do get some unseasonably warm weather, as long as they've got shade and water. Now this is in our area, the Northeast. I wouldn't have them in summer in like Florida. I wouldn't have them summer here.
Right?
But late spring and then late summer, if you want to start brooding chicks to butcher in the fall, is a nice time too.
All right, that's it for today.
Bye-bye.
Look at Daddy, say bye-bye, wave. No, he said it. I said it, Daddy.